It is not quality of life versus financial goals. The more you meet your financial goals, the bigger your quality of life gets. It is not one versus the other. It is one creates the other. Today, we're going to talk about spending and the purpose of your spending. I've been coaching a lot of my clients in their personal finances on desire and the things that they want. And, how do I manage and balance all of the desires, the things that I want to get or buy or have, and my financial goals, right? Paying off debt, building wealth, blah, 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 all the kind of boring things, right? And it does kind of feel like that. It feels like there's the boring things that I want to do, like pay off debt or build my investment accounts and there's very good reasons why I want to do it. But then there's all the fun things I want to do, like go on trips and remodel my home and buy new furniture and da, right? So it can constantly feel like this battle between the boring things and the fun things. And sometimes our prefrontal cortex, our decision-making brain wins, and we stick to our priorities and we stick to our budget and we stick to the things that we said that we were going to do. And sometimes the other part of our brain wins and we just give in and we spend money on things because it feels good and it feels fun. So today what I want to talk about is how can you have both? And how can you manage that? Because I don't think it's a helpful dichotomy. I don't think it's helpful to say, this is boring but good and this is fun but bad, because it puts you in the position to be rebellious, right? It puts you in the position where you have to either be the stern mother to yourself or the rebellious teenager. And of course, being a rebellious teenager feels so fun. So oftentimes that's going to win. So we want to get rid of that dichotomy entirely. And we want to help you have both, because it's my philosophy that it is not quality of life versus financial goals. This is how we often think about it, right? We think, okay, I can have quality of life or I can meet my financial goals. When in reality, the more you meet your financial goals, the bigger your quality of life gets. It is not one versus the other. It is one creates the other. Okay. So with that, we still are human beings and we want to spend money on things that are fun, especially we're in the summertime now. There's a lot of fun summer things happening. If you have kids, they're out of school. You don't want them to be bored at home all day, right? So there's a lot of ways to spend money. So I'm going to bring two client examples to you because they're just, they're so perfect. So one client, she recently went through a rebrand in her business. She completely rebranded her business. And her branding used to be black and white and this dark kind of maroony color. And all of her photography was in black and white. And it was very impactful and very powerful and strong. And now she's rebranded to include a lot more color. She's no longer doing black and white photography. She's doing really a community-based brand. And so there was a huge shift in her visuals. But she's an online coach. And in her home office, behind her computer screen, she designed her entire home office to match her previous branding. She has a black wall behind her with photos of women in black and white, and all of her furniture that she bought matches her previous brand. So she goes, oh my God, I need to completely redo my interior design for my office. When she originally moved into her house, she hired an interior design firm who did a really good job. So she hired them again. And she goes, okay, we're going to do a rebrand project for my office, and we're going to spend money and we're going to do it all. Okay. Now that's one client. The other client, she's working on paying off a lot of debt and breaking cycles that have been happening for years that have landed her in debt. She's also trying to build her retirement. She's already in her 40s. She wants to, make sure that they're on track and that they're not going to have to retire on the bare minimum. So she has these big financial goals, but she also really wants to take her family on a trip to Europe, and she wants to remodel her kitchen. Okay, so it's the things that she wants versus the goals that she has. And here's what I said to both of them. I asked them, what is it? What is the purpose of this expense? What are you trying to achieve? So let's go with the trip to Europe. And I'm like, I know this sounds like a stupid question, but what is the purpose of going to Europe? And she said, well, my kids are getting older. They're going to be going to college. We're going to be empty nesters. And I really want to just have an enriching cultural experience with my kids before we become empty nesters, where we can travel and experience new cultures together. And I go, great. And I wrote that down. And then I go, what's the purpose of the kitchen remodel? And she goes, well, I work from home. We spend a lot of time at home. And again, because we're going to be empty nesters soon, I want to have a place that is warm and inviting, and we can create core lasting family memories together. And a place where after my kids go to college, they want to come back to, right? They want to come back and they want to experience this warmth in this house that we have together. So I wrote that down. Okay, great. Now, for the client who was doing the office remodel, I said, what is the purpose of this, not remodel, but redecoration? What is the purpose of this? And she goes, well, it's simple. Like, I need my office to match my new branding because, my office, I'm on Zoom all day. People see into my office. My office is an extension of my brand. So I need my new office to match my new branding. Okay, great. So now we have the purpose. When we have the purpose, the core purpose underneath the spending, we can pause and ask ourselves, what are all the ways I can achieve that purpose with different varying budgets, right? Because it's one thing to go to Europe. That could cost easily for a family of four, $20,000. But if we realize the core purpose is to experience new cultures together as a family and make memories before we become empty nesters, I could come up with 20 different ways we could do that, right? I could come up with 20 different ways we could do that. Oftentimes, we start with our idea, go to Europe. We start with our idea, redecorate the entire office. And we are stuck there and we're like, no, I really want that. And I'm not saying you don't want that, right? You can still want to go to Europe. You can still want to redecorate the entire office. But what I am saying is when we get underneath and when we just let go of it for one moment and we say, okay, let's just put Europe in the parking lot for a minute. And we really dive into what is the purpose of going to Europe, we can come up with lots of solutions that get us the same outcome. So what happened? Well, my client who wanted to redecorate her office, she said she was already working with the interior designer and the invoice was $13,000. They had already picked furniture. They had already lined up painters to come in and paint the office and like furniture removal companies to come in and move things, right? She was ready to spend $13,000 to redo her entire office. And when we sat and we said, okay, what is the essence, right? What is the core purpose of why you want to do this? And it was to make her Zoom background match her new branding so that when she's on Zoom calls, it matches. We realized we just have to paint one wall. You don't have to redo the entire office right now. You just got to paint the wall behind your Zoom background, right? That's the core issue. Right now, her wall is black and has black and white photography. If we painted it, or I think she's going to end up wallpapering it, that fixes it. You don't have to change the lamp. You don't have to change the desk. You don't have to change the chair. Why? Because people on Zoom don't see that. And she has an online business, so people are not coming into her office in person. Wallpapering one wall is going to be a couple $100 compared to $13,000 in this project with this interior designer. And she really had to coach herself on, oh my God, I've wasted this designer's time and I'm going to go back on my word. And she was going to go through with it sheerly out of people pleasing, right? I'll just do it because I really feel bad for this interior designer. Versus saying, actually, here's what my business needs from me. And here's what I'm trying to achieve with my money, right? I want to hit all these other financial goals. And this one instance, redecorating the office, is not that much more valuable to me compared to using the $13,000 for something else. So I just have to get over my people pleasing, maybe apologize for wasting time, and find someone to do the wallpaper instead, right? My other client, the one who wanted to go to Europe and remodel her home, you know what they did instead of remodeling their home? They bought a new sofa. They bought a new sofa and a couple new items for their living room to make it really cozy and comfortable. Why? Because we realized the core purpose of a remodel was for family memories, and they can have family memories in their current home. And right now, the sofa, I guess, was the issue, right? It was uncomfortable, or it was old, or the springs were popping out, or whatever, right? So much cheaper. I think it cost them like $3,000 instead of $30,000 to $50,000. And we still get the core purpose achieved. Same with going to Europe, right? Like, I don't know if they've planned a trip yet, but we gave them multiple options domestically where they can experience new cultures. I mean, hello, the United States is huge. We have so many various cultures across this country, and save a ton of money and wait to go to Europe, right? Save up money to go to Europe without having to go into more debt. So when you are really attached to something, right, you're like, no, I really want this. And if I'm your money coach, or if you have another money person in your life, if they're like, no, you can't spend money on that, we have to pay off debt, or we have to invest, or we have to XYZ. Oftentimes what you'll feel is resistance, and you'll feel that rebellion come out, right? No, but I really want this. I really want to go to Europe. I really want to redo my office. Even though you also said 2 weeks ago that you really want to pay off your debt. When you're feeling that feeling, I want you to pause and just be like, okay, wait, what is the office about? What is the trip to Europe about? What is the new clothes about? What is the bag about, right? What is the purpose of this purchase for me? What is it fulfilling for me? Because oftentimes it is fulfilling an emotional need, right? An emotional need. And we can meet those needs in so many different ways without just spending all the money every single time. Because remember, paying off your debt is also an emotional need. You're under the thumb of your creditors. Maybe your debt payments are a huge portion of your monthly take-home pay or your business revenue. You also have an emotional need to build wealth so that you're not going to be reliant on your children when you're older. Don't forget that those are also needs. And just because they're not here right now doesn't mean that they need to be ignored, but you can still meet the present needs in a way that doesn't sacrifice those long-term ones as well. Okay. So getting down into the core purpose of your spending will really help you in, it's not even about sticking to your budget. That's what I almost said. It will really help you stick to your budget. It's not even about sticking to your budget. It's really about learning how to be a person who makes financial decisions that you are happy about. That's it. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to deal with it, right? If you spend all your money right now, you're the one who's going to suffer in your retirement. If you rack up all the debt right now, you're the one who's on the hook for it, or maybe you go bankrupt and your credit is screwed, right? At the end of the day, it's not going to hurt me. It's not going to hurt your friends. It's going to hurt you. So I really want you to have the tools to spend and utilize your money in a way that you actually are happy with, that doesn't keep you up at night. So this is just one little tool that can help you do that. All right. Okay. I think that's it. Take it easy.